Welcome to the Dojo Talk Podcast. Please remove them shoes before entry. Semester is here, and you still have not taken off your shoes.
Yeah. Living every day to define man's mission. Looking to the sky for divine transmission. Deaf man's vision makes the blind man listen. Eyes on the prize, this is blind ambition. Thank you.
Welcome to another edition of the Dojo Talk Podcast. I am your host, Serial Sensei. We are on episode number 157. As always, you can give this podcast a listen on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and other platforms. Send questions to dojotalkpodcast@yahoo.com if you feel inclined to do so. Give us a look on social media at the Dojo Talk Podcast Facebook page as well as the Instagram page. And you can follow me on Twitter and Twitch at Serial Sensei. And you can follow my co-host also on Twitter at GC Zeus. And speaking of, as always, I'm joined with my co-host Antaku. What's going on, man?
Not much. Yeah, I got a good night's sleep. Thank you, Blachowicz and Jacare.
Yeah. I think they helped us all catch some Z's. It was weird because I actually had just made a post, I feel like not too long before that fight started, about how I was proud that I fought the itis to stay up and watch this card. And then that fight happened, and I can't really blame the itis. I don't know if it was really the itis. It might have just been, probably 70-30. 70-30 leaning towards them. But, yeah, I think we all caught some quality Z's. But before we get started, shout outs to the listeners. Hopefully you guys were able to stay up. Hopefully somebody was able to stay up and make it through that main event. But top listeners for the week, as far as cities go: number 1, Ocala, Florida; number 2, Atlanta, Georgia; number 3, Brooklyn, New York; number 4, San Marcos, California; and number 5, Salinas, California. So shout outs to you guys. Appreciate the listens. Keep sharing with the co-workers, friends, family, gym members, old people, KFC workers and not Popeyes workers. Because Popeyes people have enough. They got enough going on. Movie attendants, valet people, wherever you are. Tell them to listen. Make sure they listen. So, as far as what will be going on today's show, quick rundown. I'll briefly run through one championship. Age of Dragons. I only got a chance to watch 2 fights on the card, so I'll talk about those 2 fights and then I'll read some results. Briefly run through Bellator 234 because that was a thing that happened on tape delay for whatever reason, but Bellator going Bellator. Forgot to mention, of course, we'll do news and notes. And then we will finish off with UFC Sao Paulo, which, I don't know, man. We'll get there when we get there. I'll leave that at that. Yeah, I'll leave that at that. I don't even have a punchline right now. But to start things off, what's on your mind? Anything on your mind this week, Antaku? Any pressing matters? Any non-MMA related happenings?
We live in a hellscape of our own design, and we're all going to die. How's that?
That's a show, folks.
Well, no. So I don't know. I don't know if you saw on Twitter, but apparently there's a new business in Delhi, in India. That's basically just selling oxygen to people because the air quality there is so bad that they can get away with selling oxygen.
I did see that.
And then it had me thinking, that's no different than what they do with bottled water here. And I'm like, oh, it's all the same.
Oh, man. That is... Yikes. Did it say how much, they're charging for the...
I have no idea, but since they threw the word bar in there, I'm assuming it's way overpriced.
That is, ugh, that's nasty.
They have flavored oxygen. This is disgusting.
And this is in where again? India?
Delhi.
Let me see if I can. I gotta see if I can find this, man. Yeah, see that was one of those headlines that I saw, but it was like too depressing to really click on, and I
Yeah.
was just like, I kind of don't, I don't, I don't want to read this. Crazy part is on a random side related, halfway related note. I used to joke that like we always have like this whole thing of we're trying to go to other planets and set up shop on other planets and all that nonsense, and I think it's crazy because we're just gonna mess up those planets like we do Earth, if we were to ever settle on Mars or whatever.
Well, here's the thing, and I have my own theory about this. When they eventually do go to the space, I should say eventually, because it's not a guarantee that we'll make it that far. But if we ever do go to space, I assume the only people who will be able to go are going to be like rich people, and they won't survive like a year on their own.
No.
Like none of them know how to do anything like remotely like compatible with like building a society, or even just basically doing basic maintenance on themselves.
Right.
So like
The second the spaceship malfunctions, it's over.
hell, everything could go right, but the second they want like the second like, oh, our crop yields didn't turn out the way we thought they would, or hell, even when the harvest time comes and they're like trying to like, I don't know, harvest strawberries on Mars, like, okay, who's going to do that? Because none of them are going to want to do it. And if they do, it's not like, have you ever seen like a strawberry like farmer, like not farmer, but like the harvest people? Like them people are quick. Because if you're not quick, those things die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm just like, yeah, they can't do that.
They'll probably end up eating each other within like 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just make sure you guys just put it on a live feed somewhere. So
it's like Lord of the Flies.
I used to joke like they're gonna go to Mars and there's gonna be an oxygen bill. Like that's gonna be a thing.
Oh hell yeah! Are you kidding me?
You're gonna pay the oxygen bill. They're just gonna like unplug your house and
you can die.
Right, you're just gonna be on your own. That's gonna be it, man. That is gonna be it. The world, man, scary place, scary place. I don't even know how to follow that up.
What's on your mind?
I have a much more trivial, very non-important compared to that. On my mind for the week, just keeping a close eye on these streaming wars, man. Because we've been talking about we've talked about Disney Plus on and off on this podcast like randomly a couple times, and
Bro, they have like 10 million 10 or 11 million customers already.
Already out the gate, like it's the streaming wars are on, man, and Disney has come out. They got all the big guns. They got the tactical nuke. They are ready to go. They are locked and loaded, and yeah, like that first day Disney Plus came out, I'm not gonna lie, my coworker came over to my desk. I wanted to just see what the app looked like, see what was on there. I haven't bought it, and I don't want to buy it, but I'd be lying if I saying I wasn't a bit enticed, because I really do want to watch The Mandalorian. That looks like an amazing show, and I saw Darkwing Duck was on there, and I got pretty happy. I love Darkwing Duck. It is like your entire childhood just kind of wrapped in one app. But I thought it was interesting because I feel like maybe a day or so after, I imagine that Netflix, they had to have an emergency meeting because it was like as soon as the streaming war started, like the war was almost over. So, they had to come reload and retool. So now we have Netflix is going to be teaming up with Nickelodeon.
Which is hilarious because Nickelodeon has one profitable Like I guess two, because you know they have the Loud House, but it's like SpongeBob. That's the
Well,
thing that keeps the light on at Nickelodeon.
well, from what I understand, and I don't have the article in front of me, but I guess they'll have access to a lot of Nickelodeon's IPs, so it'll
Mm.
allow them to either reboot them or re-release them. You know, they'll have some options, I guess. And one of the options I guess they're uh, doing, speaking of SpongeBob, apparently Squidward is
He's
getting
getting a spinoff.
spinoff.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I'm interested to see what Netflix tries to like arm themselves with to kind of combat this Disney Plus takeover.
Well,
Um,
so I don't know how closely you follow like Nick News or whatever. Um, but there was supposed to be a live action slash animated Rugrats movie that was supposed to come out in like 2021. So it would have like live action actors for like the adults and like 3G or like 3D animated children for like the kids. And they scrapped that the day after that news came out. So I'm assuming they're gonna do something with Rugrats.
I mean, listen, man. I don't know if you're Nickelodeon, you got SpongeBob, you got Rugrats, you got Hey Arnold was Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
They
Well,
got a couple.
well, here's the thing. Like, besides like people like me and you who like remember Hey Arnold, like who's gonna? They were gonna so they were gonna do a spin-off show after Hey Arnold first ended with Helga, that was basically going to be Daria, but they
Yeah,
couldn't
I remember
because
that.
because Daria existed, or it came out around the same time that the show ended or whatever. So maybe they do that. I don't know.
They're gonna have to do something. Well, they have this Nickelodeon thing in the bag, and then apparently,
HBO Max has a Cartoon Network,
God, they got Cartoon Network. They have the Boondocks, man. Oh, God,
Boondocks,
that's
another, I guess, Adventure Time miniseries.
yep. That's gonna be a thing. Oh, speaking of, real quick, 'cause we never mentioned that. R.P. John Witherspoon.
Oh yes,
Man,
R.I.P.
never
R.I.P.
said that on the podcast.
Pops.
Yeah, R.P. Pops, man. But yeah, Netflix has Nickelodeon. They got some stuff coming out with Eddie Murphy. Apparently, there's gonna be a Beverly Hills Cop 4. So they're gonna have to do something. They're gonna have to do. I mean,
I
Eddie
can't wait
Murphy.
till they reboot All Real Monsters.
Hey, listen. If, if I'm at Netflix and I'm in the meeting room, like I'm normally, I'm not really a huge fan of remakes and reboots. But yeah, y'all gonna have to do something, cause Disney, and I'll leave this at this. Um, you know, still got to talk about this card I don't really want to talk about, but I think the one thing that Netflix could have over Disney is that, like Disney, it's hard to beat Disney because they appeal to like such a wide variety of people.
Well, that and they just own everything.
Yeah, that too. But I feel like the one Netflix is either gonna have to corner like a lot of niche markets and
Hmm.
try to come back that way. And I think another thing they'll have in their favor is that, you know, as good as Disney is and how much they own, you don't really go to Disney for a lot of like R-rated mature content, you know, because even most Marvel movies are like PG-13,
Right.
pretty much most of them. So Netflix can kind of, if they can at least produce good content, you kind of have the R-rated market. I ain't gonna say to yourself, but you know Disney's not going. It's not gonna be a Disney hack and slash or a Disney movie where somebody's like getting
I
their
mean,
head blown off.
they're gonna have Deadpool 3.
Yeah. Good luck, Netflix. I don't know. I tried to shoot y'all some bail. I think they. I'm not gonna say they can beat Disney. They can get themselves on some kind of footing, but they're really gonna have to. They're gonna have to come with the heat, man. Like you're gonna have to hope this Eddie Murphy thing pans out. Hopefully this Nickelodeon thing, you know, nostalgia is a thing. So I think the Nickelodeon properties will help them a lot. But yeah, y'all are gonna have to really, really I had to really gear up, man, because yeah, these streaming wars, boy, it's not looking like it's gonna be much of a war at all. But we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. I don't want Disney to take over the world, so Netflix, I'm pulling for y'all. I want y'all to do well. But we'll see. We'll see, man. So that was what was on my mind for this week. So I feel like there's so much more I could talk about, but
It'd be so much more interesting than this card.
it would. It would. We got Stephen A. Smith going off on Kaepernick. There's a lot. I feel like there was a lot that happened this week. Melo's back in the league, going to Portland, but the show must go on, sadly. Sadly. But news and notes. So I broke my own rule. I said we would no longer list like 80,000 fights per episode, but the only reason I'm going to list a lot of these fights is two. These are actually like really important cards to close out the year. And I don't really have any other news stories. The one news story I'm going to let the Antaku have, because I'm sure I'll just let him hold on to that one. But so I'm going to run through this list of fights, which are quite a few, but it's pretty important stuff. So starting from the top, UFC North Carolina. Shout out to everybody in North Carolina. I think this is their first. I think this is UFC's first time going there.
It's the first time going to Raleigh.
Raleigh.
I don't know if they've been to Charlotte.
All right. So at least the first time going to Raleigh. So if you're in Raleigh, North Carolina, you will be treated to the main event, which will be Junior Dos Santos versus Curtis Blades. Terrified of that fight for some reason. Like, I'm scared for both of them. Like, I feel like it's a fight where I could realistically somehow see Blades getting clipped and losing, but I could also see JDS like getting mauled.
Yeah, when was the last time we saw somebody shoot on JDS?
It's been, or I don't even just say shoot. Somebody who would shoot and it is like a legit like wrestler, like not a panic takedown because you got hit with like a 3-piece. I don't know. It might have been a little, but we'll see. That's an interesting main event. I like it though. So that'll be your main event. Co-main event, Frankie Edgar making his bantamweight debut against none other than Corey Sandhagen. Welcome to bantamweight, I guess. I don't really know what else to say. I'm leaning 90-10 that Sandhagen's gonna wash him. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong, but
like, it's such a weird matchup. Like, there's, I won't say Frankie has to fight like the perfect fight, but like, there's every like, it's one of those things where like he moved down in weight class because the champion was too long and like such a good mover that Frankie couldn't get a hand on him. And then they just do him like a lesser version of that.
Right.
And like, to his credit, like Sandhagen shown that he can like dial back the craziness and turn into like a functional like points winning game. And he can still hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
and keeps a pretty good pace at it.
Yeah, like, so I don't know what to really expect. Like I'm leaning like same way you are. Sandhagen just keeps him on the outside and like clips him whenever he tries to move to the inside. Because thinking about it, like most of the dudes Frankie's been able to beat, like outside of Yair Rodriguez, who is unique in his I guess you could say his approach. Frankie's kind of just been faster than like Jeremy Stevens, or faster or stronger than, and like he hasn't had to cover as much distance to get on the inside. This is like he's back at lightweight.
Not only that, like he's not gonna have a speed advantage really over.
No, not at all.
And at his age, every little advantage you need at his age, every little advantage counts. So you're already gonna be out, like you said, dealing with the distance. The speed's gonna be a factor.
The new weight cut.
Yeah, new weight cut. Well, I think he'll be. I would like to hope he'll be fine with the weight cut. I just think like it won't.
Will he be fine? Will he be fine with it though after he's been hit to the body like 3 or 4 times?
That and kind of like we've been saying, like this whole dropping down weight classes thing, like it's, bantamweight is a really deep division, so it's not like you're dropping down and getting any easy. It's no easy outs, man. Like
right,
it's it's a like 155 and lower. It is just a shark tank, just every direction you look in, and it's not gonna get easier. But I gotta give Frankie some credit. He is Frankie Edgar. Dude is just like hella tough for no reason. So I'm not saying he can't win, but I don't think the cards are in his favor. But it's a nice little. I like that 1-2 punch from UFC Riley. So that'll be an interesting main event and co-main event. At UFC 246, we'll have Macy Barber versus Roxanne Modafferi. And on February 8th, this event has not been announced yet, but we'll have Ovent St. Preux versus Ryan Spann, which I just envision some 205 shenanigans happening in that fight.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential for not good. And
that fight could range from not good to like
poor OSP just getting murked.
Or, I don't know. I have a big question mark on that fight. I don't know how that one's going to go. I feel like that fight could range from anything from this is god-awful to we might get an incredible finish. Somebody might get slept. The Von Preux choke is always around the corner.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with that one. That's the beauty of 205. You never quite know what you're getting into. And then real quick, Bellator Japan and Rising 20 have pretty much announced their cards. So I'm going to run through these real quick. Some of these fights I think we've mentioned before, but now that they're completed, I'll just give the whole breakdown. Bellator Japan, Fedor Emelianenko versus Quentin Rampage Jackson. Michael Chandler will be rematching Benson Henderson. We'll have Lorenz Larkin versus Kita Nakamura. Is it Lara Joanne? Versus Kana Watanabe. And Gordy Amayuchi versus Darren Cruikshank. So that'll be Bellator Japan. So most of those outside of the main event. And what's Fedor sound to? Oh no, he's Bellator. I forgot. So yeah, it's pretty much a Bellator versus Rising card outside of the main event and co-main event. I like the Yamayuchi and Cruikshank match, but that sounds like a pretty fun card. I'm definitely looking forward to that. And then Rising 20, man, unfortunately, we will not be getting the rematch between Kai Asakura and Kyoji Horiguchi. Horiguchi unfortunately had to pull out of the fight.
Tore his ACL.
Yeah, not good, man. Not especially. I mean, for one, an ACL in general is never good, but specifically for him, for like the way he fights, a lot of bouncing around, a lot of like in and out, like explosive movements. That's gonna suck. So well wishes, man. Really hope he's be able to come back strong after that one. As of this recording, at least from what I know, there has not been an opponent named as a replacement. But we'll see. Keep you guys noted on what happens with that. But elsewhere on the card, we'll have Ayaka Hamasaki versus Sohei Ham. Johnny Case versus Tofik Musayev, Patricky Pitbull versus Luis Gustavo, Patrick Mix versus Yuki Motoya, and John Teixeira versus Mikuru Asakura. So between Bellator Japan and Rising 20, pretty good, man. I'm liking these cards. These sound like a lot of fun. I still don't much care for Fedor versus Rampage, but you know. It is what it is. Like the rest of these.
That's because you hate fun, Sensei.
I get
First
it. First
one to land wins.
And that's literally gonna be that fight. Like
that's every Fedor fight.
God, like whoever gets off that first hook. If you
Fedor
connect,
could be UFC champion. But he could also get knocked out by freaking, I don't know, Justin Ledet. It's amazing.
Endless possibilities. But you know what? I can't complain too much because I really do enjoy the rest of that card. Really, both of these cards are really good, man. And I'm pretty sure, of course, really bummed out that we won't get to see Horiguchi, but I'm pretty sure they'll be able to find a suitable replacement. Get where's Manel Cape at? Get him in there. Or wasn't there somebody else Asakura lost to? Or has he not lost yet? I can't remember. There's some options there.
He lost a fight. Hold up. Because he's like 13, 14-1. So, but it might not have been. It was Jae Hoon Moon in Road FC. He got knocked out in the third round. But he beat him already.
Okay.
Yeah, it was his last fight before he knocked out Horiguchi. So
there's some options. Ryzen I can at least, if nothing, depend on Ryzen. If nothing else, they'll give me a fun matchup.
Mayday. Is Mayday still fighting?
Is he?
I have no idea. He's a Bellator fighter.
I don't know.
Bellator only has like 10 bantamweights. So.
Yeah, get him out of there. Or just run the Manel Cape fight back. Because they fought back in, that was 2018. I don't know why I thought that was like a while ago. I don't know. There are options there. There are options.
It might be tension.
Yeah. I am mad.
I saw some rumors about that.
Whatever it is, my faith is in Ryzen. They'll pull through with something solid. So that's all I got for news and notes. A lot of good fight announcements. So I know these last two cards between the UFC and Bellator have not been the greatest, but I think we'll close the year on a strong note. So I'll hand it over to you. I think you have probably the juiciest news story of the weekend.
I don't know if juicy is the word I'd use for it, but like it's some galaxy brain like criminal shit. So UFC heavyweight Dmitriy Sosnovskiy was taken to custody along with four other gentlemen in Moscow for abduction and extortion charges. Hold up, because I didn't bother looking before. Has Sosnovskiy even fought in the UFC? Because like I remember he got signed, and then like for the longest time we didn't hear anything from him because he couldn't get a visa.
I don't know. I remember his name, so I want to say he fought like once, but I could be wrong.
He got signed before Francis Ngannou got signed, if I remember right. Yeah, like he's been around. Okay, he fought once in the UFC. But he originally signed back in 2016, 2017, and he fought Mark Godbeer. But injuries and visa issues and all that good stuff have kept him out. So, a UFC fighter was arrested in Moscow earlier this week on suspicion of kidnapping, according to reports. Sosnovskiy was arrested along with four other suspects on charges of abduction and extortion. The decision was taken by Moscow's court, which ruled to detain the suspects for 2 months while investigation is still ongoing. I didn't know you could like put a thing on that. Like you could just be like, "Oh, we're gonna jail you, but for 2 months while we get everything straightened out."
So he just gotta sit there while they
go through his shit and interrogate him and all that good stuff. Well, the details of the alleged crime have not been disclosed. Sosnovskiy's lawyer confirmed the news with Russian media outlets, stating that his client is indeed accused of extortion and abduction. He has been arrested for 2 months. There were 5 more suspects in the case. They're all in custody. They allegedly extorted about 300,000 rubles, which is about $4,662 from a representative of a commercial organization. So they tried to kidnap and extort somebody who works for a business, and they only tried to get about $4,500 to split between 6 people.
Hold on, how much?
$4,600.
Ah.
So if you do the math on that, like,
Oh, between 6?
yeah, it's like $800 a
Oh,
person.
I mean, it's a couple car payments, but you know, I don't know, man. I don't, I don't think that lick was worth it. Ugh. I mean,
Like, just take a fight.
right. Reebok at least give you 11-11, you know, something like that, maybe.
Like,
Maybe that was the money he needed because he wasn't, you know, he couldn't fight, so he needed money to like pay for the training camp.
like it sounds more like this was like just some straight up intimidation, and they thought they could make like a quick buck off of it. I don't know.
I don't know. See, when you leave fighters alone to their own devices, they kidnap people. Apparently.
Yeah, I mean, he just dude's a teammate of Alexei Olenek, who, if we remember correctly, used an MMA organization as a paramilitary group for pro Russia like propaganda in the Ukraine or something crazy. Yeah, so that was a thing. So you never know. This could be all political.
Well, that plan got foiled. 6 people though, man. Somebody would have had to get cut out. Like 800. That's all I get. that's it.
Maybe I don't know. Like maybe $800 they'll give him like fucking like you could live like a prince for like a month or something.
Possibly. I mean, I'm not saying I can't use 800, but what did they say? What the maximum charges time he could get?
It did not. Hold up. Let me double check to make sure.
Because that would also factor in if this heist or kidnapping was worth it.
No, it does not say. The only reason we know apparently is because his lawyer came out and said it. So.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that, I guess. see what the but nobody got hurt, right? Anybody
It doesn't say. It does not say.
Well, hopefully whoever got kidnapped, hopefully you're okay. Yeah, getting kidnapped, I imagine that's not a good feeling. Not how you don't wake up and envision that being a part of your day. So hopefully whoever that is, hopefully you're good. But
Yeah, like what you call that? Of course, someone has to start blowing leaves as soon as we record. But like, I don't want to make a light of kidnapping, especially with what's going on with Walt Harris and his family. But like, $800, man. Like that just kind of tells me like he does this shit for like he's about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I say because for 800, like that was.
He's about it, but he's not good at it.
Yeah, like what's the word? You know what? I'll be quiet. Bad joke was incoming. I'll leave it alone.
Yeah.
Leave people alone, man. That's leave people alone, man.
Stop kidnapping people. Yeah.
If you're gonna kidnap somebody, get the rich guys who like got the money though.
I mean, apparently it was. I mean, dude was a business owner or business representative. I'm assuming he had money. Maybe he like negotiated. He was like, I don't got like.
Right.
I'm not really about it like that.
I got money, but I don't like got money. Like.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that was news and notes for the week. Probably some other news stories, but we'll move on.
Yeah.
So, as I stated earlier, we'll be covering for the dojo breakdown in terms of fights. One championship, Age of Dragons, Bellator 234, finish off with UFC Sao Paulo. But real quick, before I forget, Ross Pearson made an MMA return.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He delivered us a one hell of a highlight.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he wasn't on the good end of the highlight.
Yep.
But he's on there nonetheless. I felt bad watching this, man. It's rough when you see Ross Pearson literally just retired, like, I think like back in April. You know, had a pretty solid career. Was a pretty solid fighter. Never won a championship, but you know, Ross was always cool for. He would give you some good scraps, man. So, no, I like Ross Pearson. But comes back from his retirement, which we all know MMA retirements are just kind of like not actually like a real thing.
They're forgetting regional promoters to pay you more money to show up on their cards, maybe.
Yeah. Just when you retire in MMA, you just kind of take an extended break. But this wasn't even really an extended break. Like, he really just wasn't really gone for that long.
Yeah, dude was out like boxing in the months he was gone. So it's not like he was not taking damage.
Well, he might have took the last I think the last bit of the health bar went to zero. So Ross Pearson showed up at an event. I think it was called like Pro Bellum, something like that. I don't know. It was a promotion I'd never heard of. Might have been a new promotion. I don't know. But he faced off against a gentleman named Davy Gallon. I don't know if I'm saying that right. DavyGallon. But I didn't see the fight in whole. I just saw the KO, which was a Rolling Thunder. And boy, oh boy. Like, we've seen, you know, tensions out here. He throws Rolling Thunders a lot. You see him in the UFC. Every now and again, you get that wild guy who's just kind of like, yeah, I'm going to just throw this. But it doesn't often land. Sometimes they miss it. It gets blocked. Or you might land it. It might graze somebody. But not often does it result in a KO. And, like, not only did this result in a KO, but, like, it was nasty. Like, he hit Ross with that Rolling Thunder. And somehow Ross's body, like, I still don't understand how he flew so far. Like, he was outstretched. Like, not quite crucified, but, like, his body was just, it was reaching for something. I don't know. But he caught that Rolling Thunder. He fell all the way back, and he was just stiff.
Yeah.
Sometimes in retirement, just sit on the couch, man. Just sometimes that's the best option. Ugh.
I mean, I'm done being sad when fighters don't want to give it up.
I mean, you know the risk, but it's like, I don't think you ever really expect. Like, y'all, I'm gonna get Rolling Thunder today. Like,
should you not, though?
I don't know, man. Life is cruel. Life can be really cruel and unforgiving. And Ross Pearson he went through that, so you don't have to go through that. In the words of Jay-Z. So
sad.
Yeah. Next time you're on the couch, and you're in that retirement mode, unless you absolutely positively just need another check, just stay on the couch, man. But
just relax, enjoy life.
Yeah, enjoy life. Stay with your family. I mean, I'm glad I didn't watch it, but I'm assuming he eventually got back up. So I hope he's okay, because that was a nasty just fall and KO. And I'll get to another one of those nasty falls at the end when we close out our fight recommendations. But ugh, you hate to see it. But it was a great highlight. So if you're doing KO of the year, if you got a little award show you want to do, or you're just trying to figure out what the KO of the year was, go ahead and throw that in the basket as a candidate, because
doesn't happen often.
Does not happen often, and that was up there. So that was Ross Pearson coming out retirement party not going so well. Moving on. I'll hand it over to you for Bellator 234, since you were last. At least I think you said you watched the main event.
I did.
I didn't see anything on this card, so I can't talk about anything. So I'll hand this over to you.
All right. So the only fight I actually saw was the main event, because I literally could not bring myself to watch the rest of the card. Also, I didn't know it was happening Friday night or Thursday, I should say. I completely forgot what's happening this week. But that's beside the point. In the main event, we had Linton Vassell, who I did not realize had already moved up to heavyweight. He actually fought earlier this year at heavyweight against Valentin Moldavsky back at Bellator 218. But he here fought Sergey Karatanov in the main event of Bellator 234, beating him by second round TKO. Just kept taking him down and beating him from the top as Karatanov basically did not have any answer to it. So he just, turtled up and stopped fighting. I don't even think he was that hurt. I think he was just like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. They already paid me, so, So in the co-main event, we had Roger Huerta, who I continuously forget is still out here, fight Sydney Outlaw. Sydney Outlaw took the unanimous decision. Aviv Ghazali versus Zaka Fatulia. I am garbage at names.
That's a crazy last name. Looking at it.
Fatullah Zadeh, I'm going to say. Where's that flag from? Is that... Yeah, that's Azerbaijan. Ghazali won by anaconda choke. We also had Austin Vanderford, Paige Van Zant's husband, continue his run through Bellator. He took a unanimous decision over Grachik Bozanyan. And to round out the main card, we had Haim Ghazali versus Artur Pronin, and Ghazali won by a heel hook. So, good night for the Israeli fighters on the main card. Not so much on the undercard. Sinead Kavanagh defeated former Bellator featherweight title challenger Olga Rubin via TKO in the second round. She was basically out on her feet. She got pinballed around there. Robson Gracie Jr. He took a triangle choke submission win over Amir Bashir. Let me see. There was a wrestler on this card. Is it Ben Cohen? Is he the wrestler?
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking at the rest of this card. I don't really recognize many of these other names.
Yeah, Ben Cohen is a Jersey wrestler. I remember that. Did he wrestle for Ryder? He might have wrestled for Ryder. But apparently he's fighting out of Israel now, and unless it's just a completely different dude, I'm just confusing my Cohens. Beside the point. Ben Cohen took a submission win over Maxim. That Kachuk. We're going with Kachuk, and I'm not even going to bother with the rest of these dudes because unless you're from Israel and you're trained or you know one of these dudes, you're probably not going to know who any of them are. So, yeah. So I can't even tell you about the quality of the card. I could tell you about how comical the main event was from this dude just stopped fighting standpoint.
Vassell versus Bader. I mean,
it's already happened.
Oh yeah, it has. Oh no, he's got to get through. Where's old boy at? The other Russian dude who pissed me off in the Congo fight. Why can I not remember his name right now?
Vitaly Minakov?
Yeah, Minakov. He's got to get first crack. Then Vassell can get his rematch. But that was Bellator 234. Shouts to Bellator with their tape delays.
Not a real sport. Not a real sport.
2019, we're still. I don't know. Somebody make it make sense, because I don't.
I get why they do it, because to Bellator they're like most of like the people who watch Bellator are not like Bellator fans so much as they are like people who watch Paramount or used to watch Spike, and Bellator just happened to be on.
Right.
From what I can understand. So they're like, we don't really care if like all the MMA fans on Twitter are know what's happening. Like, or
Pitchforks out in full force. Just
eh.
we're all boycotting in front of the office. Like, yeah, I don't get the tape delays, but Bellator going Bellator. Um, that was that. That was Bellator 234. I will briefly run through, excuse me, one championship, Age of Dragons. I'll read some results and the fights that I did see. I'll comment on, which was only 2 of them. But in the main event, we had a kickboxing bout. This was for the 135-pound championship. We had is it Elias Inachachi versus Wenfen Wang. Inachachi won a 5-round split decision. Didn't see this fight, so unfortunately I can't comment on it. We had Roman Krikila, probably said that wrong. Also kickboxing bout. He defeated Tariq Cabez via TKO in round 2. We had a Muay Thai bout. Oh boy, all right. So this is the one one of the ones I did see. Jamal Yusupov versus Yatsenklai. And
Yay!
yeah. So for one, I forgot that like one was even having a card. And then when I saw it early in the morning, I wasn't ready to start my day off with a highlight of Yatsenklai getting he got abused, man. Like the first round was cool, but like Yusupov probably won the first round. Second round, Yusupov just kind of he just turned it up and he put some hands on Yatsenklai. He dropped him once. Yatsenklai got back up. Yusupov blitzed him, dropped him again. The ref started to do the count, and then Yatsenklai rolled on his back, and then after that, the ref's like, nope, no more count, you're done. Yeah, Yatsenklai got beat up, y'all. He got beat up. No fluke, he just got beat up. So shout outs to Jamal Yusupov, amazing win. I feel like they mentioned it, but Yatsenklai hasn't lost a Muay Thai bout in a while. I think. I don't know. But either they hasn't lost in a while or he hasn't been like knocked out in a while. But either way, great win for Yusupov. Also on the card, Bo Ming got a KO win over Laura Balin in round 1. I'll skip around to the last 2 fights I saw. I think these were on the prelim portion. Jeremy Miado had a nasty flying knee KO over Lee Tiao Miao. Dude just jumped, put his knee in the air, met a chin, and that was it. Go look up that highlight if you haven't seen it. It was a nasty knee KO. And also on the main card. And I'm mad at Twitter because y'all didn't. I have a lot of people on my timeline who watch one. And nobody reminded me that Irina Bars was on this card. I forgot because I was really hyped for this last week. And then I got old man memory. I forgot it was a thing. So I watched this morning. Irina Bars has her first loss. I'm calling shenanigans. I'm not feeling this split decision that she dropped. I thought she took the first 2 rounds. Brewer did. I forgot to mention it was Irina Bars versus Christina Brewer. I thought Bars won the first 2. Probably lost the third. Or at least the third. The third was definitely debatable. Christina definitely started to turn it up in the third. Was landing more combinations. Was able to push the fight forward a little bit. Caught Bars with a couple of really good shots. But I thought the first 2 Bars pretty much outworked her. I thought. I'll have to rewatch it. It could just be my Irina Bars bias leaking out. But I thought Irina Bars won that fight. But judges, whatever. Christina Brewer got a huge upset. I'm gonna call it a huge upset over Irina Bars. Kind of sucks. I wish they would have put Irina on the main card, but Irina Bars still. Yeah. Like if you know who Irina Bars is and you know like her pedigree, you could have swapped out one of these main card fights for her. Like she definitely deserves that. I know this was her debut and all, but like Irina Bars ain't no she's not like some rookie prospect. Like, this is like, he's like a legend. Like,
Well, like that, and you also have like if you're like, and I know like the American audience isn't their primary audience, though they are angling towards it being so. In the near future, like Serena Bars is probably more recognizable to like your average MMA fan than literally any of those other kickboxers in the card.
right. Because if
Like,
nothing, somebody saw her fight with Cyborg and like, oh yeah, I remember her,
yeah,
and they'll tune in. But sucks, man, that fight ended the way it did. But it is what it is. Losses happen, unfortunately. But yeah, Christina Brewer got a split decision win over Irina Bars. I won't really bother to read the rest of the card because don't know many of these people. Hold up, is Armen Petrosian Giorgio's brother?
yes,
Well,
I believe so.
If that is indeed his brother, he lost to a gentleman named Enrico Kale. I don't know if I'm saying that right. By TKO. KO/TKO round 2. But that was one championship, Age of Dragons. Like I said, I didn't really get a chance to watch the entire card. I literally only saw 2 fights. But normally the kickboxing fights and the Thai fights are pretty fun. So I feel good recommending this card if you have a chance to go rewatch it anywhere you can. Go check some of those fights out. So that was one championship, Age of Dragons. God, we got to this card quicker than I thought.
Yeah, like we haven't even recorded for an hour, have we?
No, we have not. We got to this card so quick. All right, man. I mean, I guess we don't really gotta drag this out any longer than it needs to be. UFC Sao Paulo went down last night, headlined by Jacare Souza and Jan Blachowicz. I was very intrigued for this fight. Seeing what Jacare how he would handle things at 205. Is it too little, too late? Is he too old? Is Jan gonna sleep him? Is Jacare gonna be able to get a takedown? Just had a lot of questions. This was an intriguing matchup for me, and I'm a huge Jacare fan, so I had my eyes on this one. And unfortunately, man, I'll let you guys know. I mean, and if you watch the card, I'm pretty sure you'll understand where me and the anti-cool are coming from. Probably the way we describe this fight is how we're going to describe like 90% of what happened on this card. There was not... This is the second week in a row where all of the best happenings went down on the prelims. If you watch the prelims, if you saw Krause versus Moraes, if you saw Trinaldo versus Green, if you saw the Randy Brown and Warley Alves fight,
That's really all you need to see, except for the Bronx.
Right. Like, prelims had some good things going on. There was some interesting happenings on the prelims. As soon as that main card started, man, everything just tanked. And then the Bronx brought us back to life. I'm not too mad at the Hua Paul Craig fight. Wasn't great, but I guess my expectations for that fight were really low. So I think I got more than what I thought I would get, so I was cool with it. But it just wasn't. Yeah, this main card was not a lot to hold on to, and it makes it worse when your main event kind of turned out like this one did. So Jacare Souza versus Jan Blachowicz. A lot of this fight was just first couple rounds, first 2, I get it. New division. Well, not new division. Hasn't he fought at, did he fight at, I feel like, did he fight at 205 before? Or was this really his first time? I thought he fought at 205 like back in the day. At least once or twice. I don't know, I could be wrong. It doesn't matter. A lot of this fight was Jacare inching forward, trying to like feint, use head movement to get in. Blast the overhand right, shoot for a takedown. I don't think he got any of the takedowns that he attempted to. Pretty much what would happen is he would... Alright, y'all. We're back. Internet does internet things. I'm gonna say that the internet just didn't want to hear about Jacare and Jan, so they just kind of.
I'm gonna say Verizon Files is just bastards. I hate them.
Yeah, that too. That too.
I'm gonna give me some homegrown internet.
Let's run some chords.
Mm-hmm.
Get some chords and some I don't know how it works. We'll figure it out. Just watch yourself on the power line. I don't know. We'll figure it out. DTP internet coming soon.
Yes.
There you go. But like you have to listen to an episode to like your internet we're gonna time how much you listen to the episode.
You have to listen to the whole episode to get access to the internet every single time.
There you go. I mean, we got enough episodes, so you better listen, or no Disney Plus for you. But yeah, I don't even know where it cut off, so I'll just jump back into it. Jan Blachowicz and Jacare Souza. A lot of this fight was Jacare blasting overhand right, shoot for a takedown that I don't think he ever got, and they would just kind of end up just kind of stalling out on the fence. And it seemed like for the first couple rounds that was just kind of like repeat. I mean, they would stand and trade for moments. Blachowicz would throw a couple of straight kicks down the middle, a couple leg kicks being thrown here and there, but not really a ton from each guy. But I was edging rounds to Jacare just because he was kind of pushing the pace at least for the first three. But even then, even though this was a split decision to Jan, I guess I kind of thought Jacare won, but the fact that neither one of them really did anything too crazy the entire fight, I'm not even really too mad at it. Jan kind of somewhat woke up in the fourth. That was when he started to plot forward a little bit. He landed a couple of good kicks. He might have had a semi-decent flurry now and again, but he was still, unfortunately, just at moments end up with his back against the cage, just them kind of just stalling it out. But in the fourth and fifth, it was more of Jan pushing forward than Jacare. But it just, bless you.
Excuse me.
But there just wasn't. There was just nothing in this fight. It was the first two rounds were feel out rounds, and then the rest of the fight was just a feel out. It never went past that. It just kind of. Like I said, overhand right, shoot for a takedown, stall on the wall. When Jan's pushing forward, he's pushing the pace, but he's not really doing a whole ton. He's just kind of regaining control of the fight. But there was not really much of anything significant during this entire fight. Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, I literally have nothing okay. How do we feel about Jacare at 205?
Well, all right. I don't know how much this really says. He set the bar above Weidman and oh boy, Rockhold. I'll say at least he showed that he still, even though he didn't eat any crazy shots, he still looks like he still, I can't even say he got power. He didn't rock Jan at all. But it's really hard to say because nothing happened. He didn't look, he looked bad he looked bad, I guess, because the fight was bad. But I can't say he looked bad in that he's gonna. I don't know. I don't even really understand why I'm trying to explain. The fight was bad, so it's really hard for me to judge.
Right.
How he'll fare at 205.
Right. I don't know. It's weird because Blachowicz is an actually good light heavyweight. But at the same time, I could see Blachowicz losing to somebody like Johnny Walker because Johnny Walker's just a freak athlete who can do stuff hit you with a flying knee if you dug down.
Right.
And this fight showed that Jacare is not much. Well, I think he's technically fine for 205. He's also an old man, and What happens if like he runs into a Corey Anderson type who he can't take down, who hits pretty damn hard
Right.
and will push a pace, unlike Blachowicz. So it's like because this division isn't made up of like the Patrick Cummings and the OSPs anymore. It's made up of like, well, I guess say style OSP is still there, but you know what I mean. It's not made up of dudes who just try hard. Now, now they tend to be dangerous. So
Yeah, it could spell trouble for him because if Jan is stuffing your takedowns, and no diss to Jan, but you can't have these kind of fights against like the top guys. Like kind of like you said, he fights anybody that puts on the pace a little more. And like I said, it's kind of hard to say because like neither one of them really pushed the pace. So I really feel like we didn't get the best of either of them. So it's kind of hard for me to really judge what'll happen. I mean, I do feel comfortable saying he's not winning the belt. He's not beating a Jones. He's probably not beating a Reyes. I love Jacare. I don't even know if he beats like an Uzdemir. Like not fighting like that. He's not. He's not beating an Uzdemir. Yeah, just not a good showing from either of them. And it really sucks for Jan because he has kind of been like an overlooked guy who has put on like good performances in the past, but this is not the kind of fight that'll make people like excited to see you in a title fight. I don't know. Yeah, just that fight was just meh. It was just a lot of meh. Not a lot of nothing. Whole lot of nothing.
It was bad. The Brazilian fans in the background with like doing like the whole light show with their phones was pretty cool though. That was nice.
I did notice that. I didn't know what that. Do they do that all the time?
I think they're just bored.
Yeah, it was something. They were in unison, so like it seemed like they all had an agreement. Like I don't know. Maybe they were trying to. I don't know what it was. No, it did look cool though. It was much cooler than what was going on in the octagon. But I'll hold out the verdict on Jacare at 205, but I'm not gonna get my hopes up too high. But I'll always support because I'm a huge fan. But I'm gonna expectations are definitely just lowered. I'll just see what happens. I'm not expecting too much. But Jan Blachowicz got a split decision win, nonetheless. Moving on to the co-main event, Mauricio Shogun Rua and Paul Craig.
that was depressing. So like is it fair to say that like Shogun just doesn't have like that pop anymore?
Yeah.
Like he still obviously can hit pretty hard, but like there's no pop on his punches. It's more like somebody like slowly meandering towards you with a battering ram. Like there's no like, type of explosivity on any of them. And Paul Gregg should be mad that he ate any of them because they were cut like you could see them coming from a mile away. Yeah, he beat the shit out of Shogun that first round.
He had spinning back kicks, spinning. I think didn't feel like a spinning wheel kick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had a lot going on in that first round.
And then in the most baffling move ever, he decides to play bottom game for 2 rounds and gives up a win because of it.
Yeah. And it I get it because, you know, if you've seen Paul Craig fight, you know, the man he'll pull off a Hail Mary from his back. But as old as Shogun is, you know, not the same guy he used to be, maybe lost a hint of explosiveness here and there, but still pretty competent on the ground. Like he's his shortcomings isn't like he's like a. I think we've said it before. Like he's still a really competent 205er. He's just not
durable.
Yeah, just not physically all there.
Yeah.
Yeah, as
But
expected of somebody who's fought as long as he has, and
maybe it's because they're just a higher quality of wrestler than there was a higher quality wrestler in the UFC's like 205 division than there was in the Pride 220 division. But like Shogun's, he got known as like a dangerous striker, but like Shogun's always just been like his one skill set to me that really carried him in Pride was, oh, I'm losing on the feet. I'll hit a takedown and then proceed to soccer kick them from the top or stomp at them. Like he is, when he wants to be, he's a very competent takedown artist. Like he is really dangerous from the top. Like it's what won him the first fight with Lil Nog and that fight with Overeem. Like Overeem was beating his ass, and then all of a sudden, Shogun hits a takedown on him. It starts stomping on the man, and then like it changes the complexion of the fight.
and
So
say we saw in this fight, like when he got on top of Craig, especially in that the second round,
yeah,
like he was landing, he was going for some violent ground and pound. He was not just trying to like, oh, I'm gonna just sit here. Like he was, I'll commend him for that. Like he might not have the explosion as he once had, but he was actually still going for it.
Dude can still throw ground and pound. Like he still hits hard. That's not a question.
Throwing ground and pound, like passing guard, like he wasn't having none of those games. Craig, forget throwing up your legs. I'm gonna pass your guard. I'm gonna do whatever I need to do. And I'm not mad at Craig doing it. I guess the first time because I get it. You've gotten off a couple of Hail Marys, so why not see if you can pull something off. But I think after a while, Shogun pretty much showed that you're not just gonna have your way with me on the ground, and you probably shouldn't just stay on the bottom. Shogun got him down, kept him down, was able to control him really well, landed some nice ground and pound. And then the third round, I think in the third round he didn't really land as much ground and pound as he did in that second.
He's probably tired as shit.
Yeah, you could tell he was a little winded, but he still was able to just kind of hold him down and pretty much control him. And then they had at the very end they had a pretty decent exchange. When they finally got back to the feet, they both landed a couple of good shots. I for some reason I should have known because it was the last round and they were tired, but he caught Craig with I thought it was like a nice right hand, but he was tired, so it probably didn't have as much pop as I thought it did. Craig just kind of kept walking. He just kind of walked through it.
Yeah.
But they had a nice little exchange at the end. And then somehow this ended in a split draw. I don't know.
Whatever.
Yeah, like to be honest, I could be in an uproar, but I was like, do I really care? Like,
I mean, this stopped Shogun from going 5-1 in his last 6 and like throwing his name into title contention, so I'm good with it. Because Shogun is, prior to this fight, he was 4-1 in his last 5,
which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So props to the judges.
Right. But if you're Paul Craig, man, you gotta feel like, man, you kind of let this one slip. Like, I feel like the second round, all right, he got me down. I might not have expected him to do as well as he did on top. That third round, you should have just been on the feet. Because, like I said, that first round, he's beating the brakes off of Shogun. But it's MMA. More importantly, it's 205. And we know 205 is just shenanigans central. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. So, split draw.
Paul Craig should be just kicking himself in the ass for that one.
Yeah. That's one of those. That's definitely one of those that you kind of know you let that one away. You let that one slip.
Mm-hmm.
But looking forward to the rematch. Run it back. Oh no. But yeah, split draw between Shogun Rua and Paul Craig. Moving down to the one fight that collectively I think a lot of us were looking forward to, and it ended in a exciting fashion, and it brought some life to a card that really needed just life and oxygen and excitement, something, just anything. Charles do Bronx Oliveira versus Jared Gordon. Jared Gordon was the largest underdog on the card. Put up a valiant effort, but yeah. I got to start putting some respect on Do Bronx's name, man. I remember watching like his first UFC fight, and I can't remember who it was against, but I think when he came in the UFC, he was like 21. He was
Not
like
even. He was like 19, 20.
He was really frail. Just like if you just looked at like his body shape, he was just this really frail kid. You could tell that it was gonna take time for him to really grow into his body because it was like he just looked really just like if you caught him with a rib shot, he would just fold. But even back then, like you saw for how young he was, that he had a lot of talent. Especially like the submissions have always been on point. The jiu-jitsu has always been good. But his striking has really come a long way. It's really come a long way. Like,
especially recently.
Yeah, like these last probably like 2 to 3, he's definitely taken a leap with his striking. Like he landed a lot of solid leg kicks, really fast leg kicks too. Like he gets the leg kicks off really well. He's able to string together some decent combinations with his hands. He has a lot more pop now that I feel like he's a bit more confident with his striking. And I thought Jared Gordon was doing a decent job. He got caught kind of rushing forward. He tried to I think he tried to move forward with a jab, and he got caught with that overhand right.
Yeah. Walked right at, like he came in behind the 1-1-2, but like I guess he was straight up and down, so like he didn't like have the field of vision to see that the Bronx had like angled off. It was getting ready to throw that right hand and just cracked him clean with it. Like poor Gordon, like he's 1-3 in his last 4, and all 3 have come by a stoppage.
Yeah, he got caught with that hook, got dropped to a knee, went to like just kind of get back up and get his footing, got caught with an uppercut the second he stood back up, and just that was it. But great win for Do Bronx, man. He is really, if you've just been following his career, man, it's really awesome to see how much better he's gotten, and you can tell like he's definitely this is his prime now. Like he's really like hitting his stride. How do you feel about the call-outs?
He called out Conor McGregor. Who else?
And Paul Felder.
Paul Felder. Okay, like Paul Felder, I get. Conor McGregor is like, come on, man. Like they won't give you a top 10 opponent. They're not gonna let you fight fucking Conor McGregor.
Right. Yeah, I heard that call. I was like, I get it, but yeah, you ain't getting that one, buddy. But I feel like we can say this about a lot of guys at 55, man. We got to start giving these young guns some. I say young gun, but I feel like I've been watching Do Bronx fight for like a long time. But like you said, it's because he came in so young. But especially of those guys at that pack at 155, who are kind of on their runs now. He's probably, I would say, the one that deserves a big fight. Like, he's had a couple notable names before that he's come up short against, but I think we've clearly seen that he's improved his game, and I think it's time he needs a top 10, top 15. Just a name? Give this man a name. He deserves it. He definitely deserves it. But we'll see. Yeah, you're not getting that Conor fight though, buddy.
I'd be down for Kevin Lee versus the Bronx.
Yeah, why not? I'm down. Yeah, I'm down for Kevin Lee versus the Bronx. I'm down for anybody in the top 10, 15 at this point. Just give the man a fight, man. He deserves the chance to prove if he can hang with like the elite of this division. But yeah, congrats to Do Bronx, man. Amazing performance. You had the best thing that happened on this card. You brought life to a card that really needed it, because everything, at least on the main card, before and after you did not really do much. So moving on. Andre Muniz versus Antonio Arroyo.
I don't remember this fight.
All I remember thinking during this fight was who was in charge of the sequencing of these cards? Because this is
Apparently, so these guys are from the Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series, Brazil version, I believe. Is that right?
I think so.
That's stupid.
Yeah, like this was definitely a prelim, and no disrespect to either of them.
This was a jungle fight prelim.
Like this should not have been on a main card. And if I feel like I might be mixing this fight up with the first one, but I remember, and y'all excuse me, like to be honest, these first two fights on the main card were, if they were prelim fights, I probably wouldn't have cared so much. But to kind of start the card off with these two, it was not really a great experience. So I might be mixing this fight up with something else. But I feel like there was there was a point where like Arroyo was clearly like not winning these grappling exchanges, and he was losing a pretty good bit of the fight, just getting taken down a lot, and Muniz really just kind of working his grappling on him. And I remember at one point, like you got to know going into the third that you're kind of losing this fight. Like you haven't really, you had mild success on the feet, but you pretty much got out-grappled the entire fight. And Arroyo was really content with, like, there was one point where he managed to get back up, and they're kind of playing the whole game of, you know, do I jump back into his guard or do I just let him up? And he wasted so much time just kind of, I don't know if I'm going to go into his guard. I don't know if I'm going to throw some ground and pounds. Like, bro, you're losing this fight. You need to hurry up and kind of figure out what you're going to do, because I don't know if you've been paying attention, but you haven't been winning. And he ended up losing. So that was that. Andre Muniz got a unanimous decision over Antonio Arroyo. I don't have much of a breakdown. It was a fight that happened.
So I was watching the Knicks-Charlotte game at the time, and then I looked down at the computer. I was like, oh, the fight started. And then I saw one of the dudes run, like straight out sprint, Alexander Gustafsson style, from one side of the cage to the other. And I was like, okay, this is not for me. And I stopped paying attention.
Yeah. This fight wasn't it. Muniz got that win, and then rounding out the main card, we had Wellington Thurman versus Marcus Perez. Once again, another fight that had it been on the prelims, you know, and this wasn't like a bad fight.
This fight was fine for me. Like, it wasn't even bad. It was just like an old school middleweight fight.
Right.
Where, like, you got two guys who literally all they know how to do is throw, like, the big strike, and then they spend, like, a lot of, like, and then one of them wants to take the other one down. So they spend a lot of time in the clinch, but, like, to Thurman's credit, like, he was throwing in the clinch. Like, dude had him tied up from behind and was throwing knees to Perez's head, which I can respect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man's trying to inflict some violence.
And he had a really good pace this entire fight. Like, he was with the smoke. I respected that. He was definitely with the smoke. I'm pretty sure I'm getting these fights mixed up. I cannot. These first two fights were such a blur for me. Because I can't remember, was this the fight where, like, Thurman would go for a takedown, like, really relentlessly, and, like, Perez was being very lackadaisical about getting away, and he'd get taken down again? I can't remember if that was this fight or the Muniz fight. It might have been the Muniz fight.
I believe that was the Muniz fight.
That might, because that was really bugging me. Like, you know he's taking you down, and you just kind of, like, you're just asking him to get taken down again. But no, Wellington Thurman, like I said, no, he was definitely bringing the smoke, and I enjoyed the pace. Like, he set a pretty good pace. it was a solid, like, scrappy middleweight fight. Yeah, I wasn't too mad at this. It was cool. It was okay. I don't remember particulars, but
No, I mean you don't have to. It wasn't a good fight. It was not a good fight. Or I'm sorry, it was a good card. The fight was fine. The card was bad.
yeah. So it's just like a lot of things were just kind of, it was just kind of a blur. But no, I'll give a shout out to Wellington Thurman because I think this was his debut. I want to say, and it was a solid performance. Like he's somebody who I wouldn't mind seeing him fight again. I'm all down for just really scrappy, violent dudes, and he seems like he kind of fits that mold. So, congrats to Wellington Thurman. He got the unanimous decision win over Marcus Perez, and that was the main card. Like if you didn't watch it, to be honest, watch the DuBronx and Jared Gordon fight. Anything else, you can just see a highlight reel. And even the highlight reel is honestly not really going to show you much because not much else happened. It was one of those main cards that just you didn't really get a lot from this.
It's not like there was never a lot of like weight behind any of these fights except the main event. So like you'd hope at least to get the action, but there was not a ton of action.
Nope. Yeah, but there was a lot to be desired after watching this.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was the main card. Prelim spotlight. I forgot. Did you get a chance to watch any of the prelims? Or
I watched them all.
you watched them all? Okay. All right. So prelim spotlight is cool. Can't talk about every fight, but there are definitely some performances on the prelims worth highlighting. So no, I'll let you kick it off. Well, who you want to shout out for the prelim spotlight?
Yeah, shouts to Randy Brown, Warley Alvarez, fun fight. I don't think it was the type of fight either guy wanted to have. Well, let me preface this. I think Alves got the fight he wanted. He just couldn't do enough with it to secure the win early. But I definitely don't think this is the fight Randy Brown wanted to have, where he's on so he goes out, he throws a kick, he gets instantly taken down by Alves, spends the rest of the first round fighting Alves off, almost gets rear naked choked a couple times. It manages to reverse position at the end of the round, comes out in the second. It's pretty clear Alves is tired, hits him with a flying knee, tries to follow up with a head kick, instantly gets taken down again, but Alves throws himself like lazily into the guard of Randy Brown and gets caught in a triangle choke and is unable to get up and is forced to tap out. So I don't think that was the type of fight Brown wanted. It just so happened to play out in his favor because he's so freaking long. And so, yeah, like he has a good gas tank on him. So, yeah, like it's really weird. Brown's like he got known as like a striker on the regional scene, but he was always it always kind of felt like his jiu-jitsu game was the thing that got him wins. But like he seems to be more comfortable grappling, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing moving forward, but it was enough to get him the win here. You probably should be spending a whole lot of time on your back, especially at welterweight, where literally like everybody in the top 10 can wrestle really well.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was a fun fight. Brown, this is 2 big wins in a row for Brown after that Nico Price loss. He goes out there, he outstrikes Brian Barberena. He comes out and now grapples Warley Alvarez. So, good win for Brown. I'm excited to see what happens with him next. It feels like he's finally coming to his own as a fighter. So there's that, and yeah, I'm gonna let you do the next one. We'll do 1-on-1 because I want to take your two if that was one of them.
I'm trying to figure what to. One of them is not really a shout out. I just have a question. I'm gonna save that one to last. So, I'll give a shout out to Bobby Green and Francisco Trinaldo. Trinaldo, 63 years old, still out here winning fights. In my mind, he's 63. I don't care what any of you says. I don't care what the tail of the tape says. The man is 63. But nah, man, like it kind of sucks because I felt like Bobby Green at moments looked really good in this fight.
Like it's really unfortunate that Bobby Green's best technical skill set is that he's a counter grappler. So if you try to take him down, he can stop you. If you try to submit him, he can, reverse position and almost submit you. But he lacks any type of like aggression.
Yeah, he would have good moments on the feet. He could counter well, but it's like you just gotta put your foot on the pedal just a little more, and that's why I was not. I saw some people going back and forth about this decision, and that was the only reason I couldn't really be mad, is because I felt like this fight was too close for you to like. You didn't make the rounds like definitive enough, so I couldn't be mad that they gave Trinaldo the nod. And props to Trinaldo, because like even at his age, the dude's never an easy out, man. Like he is a really solid, just really well put together fighter. And he's never gonna give you an easy out. Even at 63, he can still throw hard. He can still grapple. Like he's still pretty competent. Like you're not just gonna go out there and just bully Trinaldo around. But it was a good fight. I had that fight circled and I was pretty entertained. So shout outs to Trinaldo and Bobby Green. My next fight, this is like a shout out / I don't know if I'm a hater, if I'm being too harsh. The Ariane Lipsky versus Isabella De Padua fight. Am I a hater or off by saying like I'm glad Lipsky won. I was happy she won, but I wasn't like.
It was not a good performance.
Yeah, like it was missing something. Like she comes out the gate, like she came out the gate on fire. Like out the gate, hands flying, 10-piece, 10-piece flowing. I'm like, all right, Lipsky, I like this. Obviously, like your last couple fights, people have probably been pretty critical of you. Trying to come out and make a statement. I respect it. But it just felt like this fight was just like missing something. And I was envisioning, because like context of this fight, like Isabella took this fight on how many days notice?
28 hours or something like that. Less than 2.
And I'll say I'm not familiar with Isabella, so she could be really good, and I just don't know. I don't know her background like that, so that's why I said I don't know if I'm being a hater, but I'm like, context considered, 28-hour notice, and not like we haven't seen fighters come in on short notice and really just I don't know if my expectation of Lipsky are just too high, but I felt like this, like every time the fight went to the ground, all I could keep thinking of was, if you were fighting somebody not named Isabella, this might have been one of those fights where you had a fire start and then you got put out like quick.
Yeah.
Like, but I feel bad because she won, and I'm really happy she won, but I still have a question mark about her. I'm not sold, and I want to be sold so bad, and it's just something is stopping me from really just fully getting behind her.
She does not put herself in the best positions to win fights. Like she got, obviously she got taken down a bunch here, but like there were instances where she reversed position and she just was like, you know what, I'm just gonna chill out on top. It's like, okay, you can force her into a grappling match, but that's not her strength. Her strength is, the kickboxing. And like even when it comes to the kickboxing, like her kickboxing needs to her getting taken down because like she likes to plant her feet and just throw bombs. So it's like this weird chain of events where it's like, oh, if her opponent really wants to, they can just goad her into a grappling match where she will have less of an advantage every single time. And she has no recourse for how to stop that. It's really bizarre.
Yeah. It's like you see the talent, but it's like there's still, I don't know if it's the gym, it's something there just, for me, I'm only speaking for me, just isn't, I feel like there's something still not clicking. Like she's like one or two steps away from becoming like a really, really solid, like, oh, she might actually be serious. But I can't fully get on the bandwagon yet. But I'm still rooting for her. I don't want that to get misconstrued. I'm rooting for her, but I just need a little more. Guess all that's got any more shout outs? There were a couple of other performances. We don't got to highlight all of them.
And it's not so much a shout out. Wait, am I forgetting one that I actually want to talk about? Or hold on.
Ramos finished Kraus and Moraes, which was
Yeah, that's the one I was going to talk about. But like, I was like, wait, there was one other. Oh, it was the green fight you talked about. All right. Yeah, no. James Krause, Sergio Moraes. Moraes remembered that he was a grappler for like the first 5 minutes of the fight, and then just completely and utterly gassed. So that was funny. And then James Krause spent the last 2.25 rounds just beating the crap out of him.
Mm-hmm.
And Sergio Moraes, in true Sergio Moraes fashion, reacted to every single punch Krause would land on him very funnily. Either he'd get hit, turn, and run away. He'd get hit and act like he was just dying, or he just fell down and laid down, hoping that James Krause would fall into his guard.
Yeah, he had a couple of running man moments.
Yeah, so that was funny. Props to Krause, I guess, because Sergio Moraes, though I think he's fading with age because he is not a young man. He is 37 years old. He is still a competent. Is that the word I'd use for him? He's still a value win at 170. Maybe not as much as he used to be, but this was an odd fight even on paper.
Yeah, weird matchup. I spent this whole fight waiting for the finish. Like, Krause, please just string together like a 4-piece and get this guy. He's just running and flopping all over the place. Like, please get him out of here.
Yeah, it's so weird. Krause,
I'm surprised he didn't attack his leg a lot more too.
I think he just didn't want to risk him catching it and taking him down. But yeah, Krause 4-0 at welterweight. I want to know what the ceiling is on him. He stopped his last 2 opponents, and they're in theory the last 2 opponents he's faced at 170, and Warley Alves and Sergio Moraes. So I don't know. Maybe you do Randy Brown. Maybe you do the winner of Tim Means and who's Tim Means? Thiago Alves in a couple.
I would say I really like Krause and Means. If Means wins, I like that.
That is a battle of 2 dudes who have seen the worst the Midwest has to offer.
Right. I like that fight a lot. I'm definitely down for that. Yeah, I like Krause at welterweight. He doesn't have like a ton of like he's not like a power puncher, but when he can get flowing, he can string things together. Like, he has really, really good volume. But no, that was a good fight. But like I said, the prelims were pretty good. I'll just read through the results. Ricardo Ramos had a rear naked choke over Eduardo Garagori. That was also a good fight. It didn't last that long, but really nice choke from Ramos. As mentioned earlier, Trinaldo got the unanimous decision over Bobby Green. Randy Brown got the triangle choke over Wally Alves. Douglas Andrade further sends Renan Barão's career to the downward spiral that is now 6 in a row. I believe Barão hasn't won a fight since he beat Felipe Nobre in like 2016, something like that. But Douglas Andrade in his hair got the unanimous decision win. Ariane Lipsky got the unanimous decision over Isabella de Padua. And shout out to Tracy Cortez, who got a win over Vanessa Mello. I was going to shout out that fight because of the backstory and everything. She had a lot going on. Whole lot going on. But shout out to Tracy Cortez. She got her win over Vanessa Mello. But that was UFC Sao Paulo. All in all, not really very mediocre experience, if I'm being quite honest. Must-see moments of the card: Du Bronx, Jared Gordon. Watch Randy Brown and Warley Alves. Watch Ronaldo and Bobby Green. Just watch the prelims and then watch Du Bronx and Jared Gordon. Everything else is highly optional. Highly optional. That's pretty much it for fights. Not the best weekend in fights.
In fact, I'd argue it's a bad weekend for fights.
Yeah, it wasn't really a whole, and it's hard for me to judge. I wish I would have saw the one card, but even that might not have even been able to save. I feel like the good didn't outweigh the bad. Like there was some things I was happy about. I'm always happy for one cards. I'll get to it in a little bit when we close out, but I was really happy that LFA was back on Fight Pass. I was really happy for them and glad to see. I saw a lot of people on my timeline who were able to like watch that card who, previously maybe they didn't have access TV. So that was cool to see. Like a lot of people were really looking forward to LFA, so that was dope. But like the Bellator card, like on top of it not really being like a great card to begin with, the whole tape delay thing, it's like, like what is this? And Sao Paulo had promise. Like there were some decent matchups, but just nothing really. You didn't leave with a whole lot to hold on to. Like the prelims were entertaining, but when it came to that main card, boy, it was just a whole lot of nothing. Not the best weekend of fights. Not a whole lot to hold on to. This will probably be one of our shortest episodes ever.
It has to be our shortest. I don't think we've been doing this for 2 hours.
Nah, if we have, the time got thrown off because we had the whole Fios incident, but yeah, we might not even crack 2 hours. But like I said, I wanted to do this new format of the show so we could kind of get episodes in and out kind of quicker. It makes them easier to record, easier to edit, and easier for you guys to listen to every week. And like I don't want to keep people for long if there isn't like a whole lot. Like some weeks is great and we can sit here and talk and have fun for forever because everything went well. And then some weeks just kind of, not a whole lot happened. But we still got to come in every week, at least give you our takes. But that was it. So, and I forgot to take notes for this, so I'm going to have to do this in real time. But upcoming next week. No. Oh no, this is the break, right?
I mean, there's no UFC next week.
There is no UFC next week.
Let me check and make sure there's no other MMA. I think one has a card next week. The 22nd. Yeah, it's going to be Amir Khan versus F. Ting. Yeah, that's the co-main event. I guess they're doing a tournament? No, Nang-O versus Simapech.
Okay, so you got that next week. Well, hold up. So you got one next week. Bellator London is next week.
True.
Yeah, on the 23rd. So on this card, it was supposed to be MVP versus Derek Anderson, but Anderson had to pull out. So we'll have MVP versus a gentleman named Giovanni Malello. And then also on the card, you got Fabian Edwards versus Mike Shipman, Terry Brazier versus Sorenbach, Charlie Ward versus Pietro Panini, Denise Kielholtz is on the card. Keep scrolling down. It looks like a decent, like a solid card. It looks like it'll be more entertaining than the Facel, and at least on paper.
Yeah.
Possibly. This might be more entertaining than the Vasyl Karatanov card. But Bellator's got a card next week. We won't have the UFC back until December 7th, and boy, we get to come back to what is this, UFC Washington D.C. with Overeem versus Rosenstruck. This is a pretty good card though. You got Stefan Struve versus Ben. Well, all right, it's decent.
Yeah, I like how that was the first fight you went to. There are actually good fights on that card. That is not one of them.
Well, I'm reading them in the order that they got them listed. So Struve Rothwell. You got Aspen Ladd versus Yana Kunitskaya. Marina Rodriguez versus Cynthia Calvillo, which I'm really looking forward to. I meant to mention this in the news, but Carlos Condit pulled out of the Mickey Gall fight. I think he has like a detached retina or something. So I don't know if Gall has a replacement yet, but so that fight as of now isn't happening. But shout out to Condit, man. Hope you're able to recover from that. That's a need your eyes. You need your eyes. Rob Font versus Ricky Simone. Trevor Smith versus Mahmoud Muradov, Song Yadong versus Cody Stamen, Bryce Mitchell versus Matt Sales, Courtney Casey versus Vienna Jandiroba. So no, this is actually a really good card. I feel confident this should help with the bounce back from these last two UFC cards. Like, this is actually a pretty well-rounded, even in terms of prelims and main card. Like, I think this should be pretty entertaining. So that'll be on the 7th, though. Possibly, I don't like doing this, but I'll probably do it. If there is no card next week, I wouldn't mind doing a mailbag episode. So I might have to tag some folks. I might have to be annoying all week. Since they're, we might talk about the Bellator card, but that probably won't take like super long to run through. And if I'm even able to watch one, I'll try to catch it. But, might do a mailbag episode next Saturday. Haven't done one of those in a while. So if you see me tagging you, asking you to ask questions, you already know. But that's upcoming next week. Any boxing going on before we move on and close out?
Yeah, Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz too, for whatever reason.
Oh yeah.
So.
What day is that? What day is that?
That's next Saturday.
Oh no, we gotta be back next Saturday then. We gotta talk about that. Old heavyweights. Well, one old heavyweight and a younger guy who just hits absurdly hard for no reason.
Yeah. Luis Nery's on that card. Who else is on that card? Brandon Figueroa, Julio Ceja, Leo Santa Cruz. So yeah, there's that. There was another fight. Callum Smith is fighting next week. Top light heavyweight. Was that his weight class? Yeah, top light heavyweight. Super middleweight. 168 pounder. He'll be fighting some dude named John Ryder. Should I know who this is? Oh, he'd be what's his name? Sorokin. So there's some boxing next week.
There you go.
Can't
be
say
something. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say can't say it's all gonna be good or interesting, but it's gonna happen.
I mean, if nothing else, I'm pretty sure the aftermath of Wilder and Ortiz will leave some kind of storyline. Hopefully, maybe, I don't know. If nothing else, we should get a fun knockout. That's all I can ask for. But no, so we might try to do a mailbag episode next week. So, you know what? I need to just message Joey now. That might be the one to bring him back on. Have him come back and we just answer some questions. You guys will get your 4-hour podcast then. But no, we'll figure it out. So we might be back. We should be back next week. I like the mailbag idea. Be a nice lighthearted episode. But that's all we pretty much got for today. So guess we'll go into fight recommendations. I'm gonna kind of cheat on mine because it's not a single fight. It is, but it isn't. So you guys will know if you listen to this podcast, I've been a big champion of LFA. Been watching them for a long time. back to when they were separate, back when it was it Resurrection Fighting Alliance, and what was the other one?
Legacy Fighting Championship.
Yeah. Back when it was RFA and LFC, and then they combined and formed Voltron. So, but I was bummed out when they were no longer on Access TV, but they got picked up by Fight Pass. So the fight I'm going to mention is the headliner, which was Adrian Yanez versus Kyle Estrada. Really good main event for, I guess, if that was your first time being able to watch Fight Pass. You saw a really good fight. You saw why I'm really high on this promotion in terms of prospects and things like that. But Adrian Yanez won, I think it was a split decision. Pretty sure it was a split decision. But really good fight, man. Really good back and forth fight. A lot of leather being thrown. So if you have, as of this morning, I went on Fight Pass to try to watch the fight. And for some reason, they don't have like the entire card up. They only have one fight up, which isn't that fight for some reason. But hopefully, I'm pretty sure eventually it'll end up on there. So my fight recommendation is really just LFA 78 as a whole. Just if you're somebody who has not been able to watch LFA because you didn't have Access TV and you have Fight Pass, give LFA a watch, man. It's a really good organization. A lot of good prospects have come from there and moved on to the UFC or Bellator and have been able to, have some level of success. So give LFA 78 a look. And also on that card, another candidate for KO of the year, a bantamweight named Jose Johnson got a nasty elbow KO over Rafael Costa, and one of the nastiest / scariest elbow KOs you'll probably ever see. Caught Costa with like a downwards elbow. I think as Costa was kind of like trying to like go for a takedown. I guess placed the elbow right in the perfect place, and it only took one. Costa immediately just dropped. His head was like twitching. It was really scary. But I've never seen like a elbow KO like that. Like where it's just one hit, just boom, game over. Normally it's like a sequence, kind of like the Travis Brown situation. You get like 3 or 4 of them in a row.
Right.
He just landed one, and it was a very scary KO. But from what I heard, like Costa got back up. He's okay. But nasty KO. But like if you watch LFA, man, they consistently at least one fight every card. You're gonna get one of those like highlight reel KOs. So my fight recommendation is LFA 78 as a whole, but make sure you watch the main event, Adrian Yanez versus Kyle Estrada.
I'm a cheat too. Mine isn't recommendation isn't a singular fight, so much as a series of fights that happened on December 11th, 2010. And I'm talking about Alistair O'Reilly's run through the K1 Grand Prix tournament. So his run through, like, was it Aerts? No. Yeah, it was Peter Aerts, Gokhan Saki, and Tyrone Spong. All in one night through the best kickboxer at the time. Definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen it. Like if you're one of those people who never got into kickboxing or never went back and watched Overeem's run through kickboxing, I'd say it's definitely worth a watch. Back when he got in the juice.
Yeah, he was looking real superhero-ish.
They do not test for kickboxing in Japan, or MMA too, but they don't test. Like so. Go crazy.
Hold up. So he beat Arts, Spong,
and Saki.
Is that more impressive, or how would you weigh that versus Andy Risties?
It's tough because Saki was so Spong is smaller than him by like a lot. Like well, everybody watching the show knows how big Spong is. He's like a 205er. He's not even a big one at that. Stocky, but not big. But hold on. So like, don't get me wrong, it was still a good win, but Like, Spong had just fought that night with Daniel Guida and gone to an extra round prior to fighting Overeem. Then Overeem broke Saki's arm in the next round. But like, it's really hard to judge because like he had just had the fight with Guida. So like, it's super hard to. I will say it was more of a perfect a perfect confluence of errors that led to that that led Overeem to winning than like Overeem just being like this amazing kickboxer. But this shouldn't take away from the fact that it was impressive. But it's like, okay, these guys were entering into this fight badly beat up. So,
and I'm not trying to take away from either for the listeners. Those are both like, regardless of the circumstances, those are incredible names to have on your list.
mm-hmm.
And you beat them all in one night. Because even though like Gokhan Saki is like smaller, that's kind of like the story. He's always been like the smaller guy at heavyweight who somehow was still just like knocking dudes out. Like, I think Saki really ever had a weight advantage over anybody he fought. But nah. Yeah, that is a good run. And Overeem, he was terrifying, man. That was a... If he needs you... like... I mean, probably still nowadays, but if he needs you back then, yeah, you were... Who's that guy he put through the ropes? Can't remember that guy's name.
I remember.
Yeah, he... If you've watched a Overeem highlight reel, especially with kickboxing, you've probably seen it. You just didn't know who. I don't remember the gentleman's name was, but he probably one of the scariest knee knockouts you'll ever see. No, I like that, man. You guys give kickboxing some love. Like, don't complain about grappling in MMA or just the ground game in general. Anything that's not people being punched and kicked, or like you don't watch kickboxing.
Right.
Don't deprive yourself.
So yeah, that's my recommendation. Go watch those.
There you go.
In preparation.
And I think those are on YouTube, right?
Probably. In preparation of watching Overeem get knocked out by Rosenstruck.
Hey man, listen, we gotta keep the faith. Yeah, I don't know. He might go see God. It might be one of them. I feel like he can win, but then I say that with every Overeem fight. Like he can win, but can he and Willie are always yeah. We'll see. I have one eye open during that fight. But yeah, so go watch Overeem's run, man. Overeem was a really nasty, terrifying kickboxer. So I guess that's pretty much it.
Yep.
Any closing thoughts before we head on out of here?
Shots to the New York Knicks. Fuck them. I say that as a Knicks fan. Fucking.
I want to harp on this for a while, but I actually know. I think you were. I can't remember if I saw this from you. The Fizdale quote about nobody complains when James Harden.
Yeah. Fucking Julius Randle is James Harden. Fizz. Wanna know why I'm so upset? Fucking, we were up 16 points in the third or fourth quarter of last night, and we somehow, some way, Charlotte battles their way back into the game, and they're up by 1 with 2.1 seconds left. After making a 3 off an inbound play, like with 7 seconds left on the clock. So what does Fizz do? He draws up a play that is basically, we're going to leave. We're going to take out the hot hand in RJ Barrett. We're going to take out Mitchell Robinson. We're going to put in Taj Gibson and Ellington, who hasn't played all game. And we're going to do an isolation play for Julius Randle, where he has his back to the court. So he has his back to the basket from the three-point line with 2.1 seconds left. And we're going to have him drive and see if he can get the foul. No picks. No, it wasn't even really a play. Everybody else was just supposed to get out of Randall's way and let him drive. And he doesn't even do that. He pulls up from behind the free throw line and airballs. It's like they were never going to call a foul on a drive on the last play of the game. And Randall's a terrible free throw shooter this year. It's like, oh God, Fizz. Like he wants to lose his job.
Yeah, they're probably gonna look for a reason to. Yeah.
Perry and Mills should be fired though. Fuck them. Fuck them all. And Dolan should be fired, even though he's the owner.
Yeah, I feel like Dolan's like the source of everything that. It's not just him, but I think he's a huge part of why that organization has just not been good.
Was it Mills? So without Mills, we in the 4 year like Mills for like past 16 years, Mills has been president for like 15 for 12, right? In the 12 seasons he's been president, we've won like 160 something games. He was gone for like 4 years in the middle of that. That was like around the time we got Carmelo and Sat and everybody. And we won about 160 games in those 4 years he wasn't there. So I can see what the problem is.
Listen, man, it starts from the top. I don't know. Y'all got a lot of in-house cleaning that needs to be done. Before you even get to the starting lineup and the players, like, there's probably a lot of people in that front office.
I can't wait till this summer when we sign 5 more power forwards.
Oh, man. I don't know. I guess my closing thought, shout outs to Melo. He's back in the league with the Portland Trail Blazers. I'm not sure how well this is going to turn out. I'm not a Trail Blazers fan, but I'll have my eyes, I'll be looking to see. Looking to see what kind of role they give him, see how he's able to fit with that team, him and Dame and McCullough and company. And I guess my last closing thought to my San Antonio Spurs, sometime before the trade deadline, sooner rather than later, we got to get DeMar DeRozan out of here. He's got to go, man. He's not it, man. He's not it. Like, I'm not a big LaMarcus Aldridge fan either, but if I got to pick between him and DeRozan, who has to go, DeRozan has to go. For the money that we pay him, he is not producing. And I know last game he had like 27, but the games before that, terrible. Just he's not worth the investment. He's not going to get us to a championship. He probably won't even get us out the first round because he's, as we saw last year, when playoff time comes, he puts himself on a milk carton. Yeah, we gotta get him out of here. At this point, I don't care what we trade him for. $250 in a bag of Funyuns. Just get him out of here. I don't. They said Orlando was looking at him. I don't even know what Orlando has. I don't know who's on Orlando, but at this point, I'm willing to take it. Get DeRozan out of here. He's got to go. That's all I got. Those are my closing thoughts. So, that was today's episode of the Dojo Talk podcast. As always, give us a listen. SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts. Send questions to dojotalkpodcast@yahoo.com. Give us a look on social media at the Dojo Talk Podcast Facebook page as well as the Instagram page. Follow me on Twitter at Serial Sensei. Follow the Anti-Cool on Twitter at GCZeus. And if you're listening, send questions in. We'll probably do a mailbag episode next week. So send in questions. If not, I'm just going to tag you anyway. So if you're listening, email a question. If you follow me on Twitter or Tumblr, send either of us a question. We'll answer it on the show. But that's all we got for today's episode. Thank you guys for listening. And as always, anytime people are being punched and or kicked in the face, we will be there to talk about it. And until next time, we will catch you guys later.